All right, man. Let's talk about Canelo. Let's talk about Yordenis Ugas. Says that he wants to come back in the ring versus Keith Thurman, Jaron Ennis, or Vergil Ortiz. Let's talk about it. Check out the Box News playlist. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. Now we know Yordenis Ugas suffered a very malicious ass whooping on the hands of Errol Spence. Obviously, Errol Spence, strength condition nutritionist Declan Welsh had him in prime physical peak condition for that Ugas fight. And Ugas had some success in that fight. Excuse me, that's Mason. Ugas had some success in that fight. He hurt Errol Spence a couple times. Should have got a knockdown in that fight. Should have possibly even got a knockout if he would have jumped on Errol Spence. And he's talking about the referee, man. The referee ain't jumping on my back like when Deontay Wilder finished like Shang Tsung finished Bermain Stavern did. You fair game. If I get DQ'd, I get DQ'd. All right. But it says Yordenis Ugas eyes ring return next year. Targets Keith Thurman, Jaron Ennis, and Vergil Ortiz. It says, according to Yordenis Ugas, destiny was undeniably on his side after bucking the odds and ushering Manny Pacquiao to retirement following his upset victory. Ugas clutched tightly onto the WBA crown. Shout out to Hans. He's doing some work on these articles. While he could have opted for a softer touch during the next ring out on Ugas pointing a daring finger squarely in the direction of Errol Spence Jr. aimed to strip him of the WBC IBF welterweight titles. Although he had his moments, Ugas 27-5 would eventually crumble underneath Spence's relentless pressure and precise pernicious power in the 10th round. In particular, persistent Spence poured on combinations, forcing a corner stoppage due to advice of ring physicians. Shortly after his defeat, it was revealed that the Cuban-born suffered a broken orbital bone. As former Olympic bronze medalist begins his long road back, he's hoping that he'll make a ring return at some point in 2023. Quote, God willing, said Ugas during an interview with ES News, maybe next year. Ugas, despite being 36 years of age, is in no way, shape, or form interested in walking away from the sport of boxing. On contrary, the former welterweight titleist is anxious to face off against boxing's elite. After a particularly dreadful stretch in 2014, Ugas took what believed was well-needed rest. Once he returned roughly 2 years later, Ugas reeled off victories in 12 of his next 13 bouts, with his long blemish coming against Sean Porter, which was debatable. Nevertheless, outside of his most recent defeat, Ugas is one of the belief that his name should be considered amongst the best of the best, with his lofty welterweight standing seamlessly solidified. 36-year-old advised that for his next show, he would love to mix it up against the fighters that he considered upper echelon. Quote, Vergil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis, Keith Thurman, all of them. So, I mean, obviously, dude, them checks that he was getting is hidden. He ain't looking to duck no fade. He ain't looking to retire. Like his face has made 100% recovery from what I've seen. And yeah, not too many people seeing Jaron in his name. Obviously a natural progression would be him and Keith Thurman for an interim title. But if he come back in 2023, maybe they can fight for a vacant title. You never know. Or put themselves in position to get a title after Spence and Terrence Crawford eventually fights. If they don't fight, maybe putting his name in the Terrence Crawford sweepstakes or Errol Spence rematch sweepstakes or for a vacant belt. But a lot of people love to see him fight Jaron Ennis. Now, we like to see him get in the win column first on an undercard or something like that. We would love to see that. And obviously, a nice touch. Not nothing too tough, nothing too strenuous. Nice touch, but he willing to get back in the ring with the killers. I like to see him get back in the ring versus Abel Ramos. Well, they already fought Abel Ramos. That's a good question. I like to see him get back in the ring with Alvarez. Cody probably might be a little bit too rough for him, in my opinion. Rashid Ellis might be a little bit too kind of upper echelon right there. Jamal James, well, they already fought, so he fought a lot of these guys. Alexis Rocha, obviously he on Golden Boy, but that'll be a good fight. Blair Cobb would be a good fight. He in the win column. So he fought a lot of these dudes already. So if Conor Ben comes down, that'll be a good fight. But I'm guessing maybe Jesus Ramos. Maybe Mario Barrios. Maybe Alexander Boost Putin. Somebody like that. So, whatever, whoever the soft touches is, um, yeah, you want to see him fight one of them soft touches real quick. Maybe not Jesus Ramos. He on a hell of a roll right now, but him seeing the top names out there, that should make Jaron Ennis feel well. Jaron should let him go ahead, get a nice little tune up in there. Um, that's what I'll do. Let him get a nice tune up, and then what I'm saying, then they can do it. Obviously you'd be beating a former champion, get his name out there. They can turn around and uh, then probably go for a real champion. Vergil Ortiz, same thing for him. Titles tied up. Well, show your credentials by fighting somebody that Earl Spence beat. People know Ugas' name, put him in the spotlight, all that type of stuff, and see if you can one up Earl Spence and put yourself in that position to kind of, be a world champion, be a mandatory or something like that. So it make a lot of sense. But obviously the one that make the most sense is probably to keep Thurman fight. They probably put him right there in title contention, probably put him for an interim title or even a world title or something that's dropped. So that make a lot of sense. But a lot of people be itching to see him versus Jaron Ennis. But for me, not just coming off a loss for any of those dudes. Maybe for Keith Thurman coming off a loss, but for the rest of them dudes, you want to see him be able to get a win first. You want to be able to see him be a win first. I mean, even if you keep Thurman too, you want to see him get a win first. But the ass whooping that he took, yeah, it's gonna need some time off. You probably talking middle to late next year. You probably at the earliest talking about these caliber of fights. But when you start cashing those them type of checks, I mean, you don't want to go back to cashing 9 world title checks, 9 big fight checks. You want to get back in that ring and do that. And out of all those dudes, Keith Thurman is probably one guy that he can come back and beat. He physically is not the same. Like him and Vergil, him and Yordenis Ugas is in a dog eat dog world, and they senior citizen dogs with a lot of young, spry alpha dogs that's hungry, and they're gonna get hurt. It ain't like they can go up to 154 pounds and do anything because they ain't nothing but young, spry, prime dogs up there, and the old dogs is pretty dangerous for them, like Austin Trout. So it makes a lot of sense for them remaining at this division and possibly fighting each other and putting themselves back in title contention. That makes the most sense. But him and Jaron Ennis is a fight that's gonna spark a lot of interest. And I now expect Jaron Ennis to be done with him in 4 rounds. Just to be honest, I just think Jaron Ennis is time for a title. It's time for a title shot, to be honest, for him. I mean, I don't think any of these contenders going to provide any type of resistance at this point. Keith Thurman could. I think Keith Thurman, he could, but he not going to get in the ring with him. Him and Vergil, that's down the road. Our region might provide a little bit of resistance. Cody Crowley might provide a little bit of resistance, but, only champions going to provide real resistance, or, Keith Thurman is going to provide real resistance for Jaron Ennis. But you still got to build that name up anyway. He still got to build that name up. So, regardless of, how you feel, how you don't feel, he got to go through the boogeyman precautions. You got to hope that you ain't the boogeyman. You got to hope that you ain't the boogeyman for too long. Trust me. Nobody wants to be the boogeyman. Nobody. Because it don't really do shit. It ain't financially lucrative. And then when it is, it really ain't. If we being, it really ain't. You get scabed off from the big fight. So Ennis and Ugas is a good fight for Ennis. Now, Ugas and Vergil Ortiz is a good fight. Golden Boy would probably have to put that money up to get Yordenis Ugas to come over there. Same thing gonna happen with Ugas and Ennis is gonna happen with Vergil and Ennis. And Vergil gonna beg him out his frame. And they say 36, he more like probably like 46. So, like I said, man, Ugas at this point is just looking for big paydays. To financially, secure him for the rest of his life, and hopefully he making, the right investments with his money and all that type of stuff. So I mean, his face healed, but let's see physically is he ready to get back in there. But him and Boots, all of them would be good fights. But for his maximize potential, the Keith Thurman fight is probably the fight that he got his eye on the most. That's probably the fight that he got his eye on the most, in my opinion. That's probably the fight that he got his eye on the most, and he should. And after that, if it leads to a title, if it is a title, then you think about fighting one of them young killers. But I milk that shit this time. Honestly, I milk it. You know, that's what I would do. I milk it. I wouldn't be just going getting back in the ring with them killers for short money. I need really good money. And that's how I be doing it. They ain't gonna get me back in there for no short money at all. They ain't gonna get me in there for no short money. Real good money. But that's my opinion right there. But yeah, I would go tune up Keith Thurman, then I think about everything else. I think the Keith Thurman fight might lead to at least interim title, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think. I think the Vergil Ortiz fight in the Jaron Ennis is just instant suicide, in my opinion. But that's just from my vantage point. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, push your chance, get notification. We go live and drop video. Financial and support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, um, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere inside the link tree. Check out the Welterweight and Boxing News playlist. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. Peace.